Did you guys have fun creating your painted tissue paper inspired by the artist? Do you remember what her name is? Let's say it together. Maya, Freelon, Asante. That's right. And so now that we have our painted tissue paper, different shapes and sizes, we have the bigger ones, the small ones, we are going to put them together to create a quilt inspired by Maya. So let's talk about quilts really quickly. Do you guys know what it is? You may have one at home. In its function, a quilt is like a blanket. It's meant to keep you warm, and it's made out of different pieces of fabrics, usually different shapes, to create a pattern. Quilts have a long history, dating all the way back to Egyptian times. And then in Africa, tribes would use specific colors and prints to tell a story in their quilt to talk about their tribe, who they are, and where they're from. Then in slavery times in the US, they would create quilts using scraps of fabrics to make a quilt, a blanket, to keep them warm, but they also told stories in them and secrets to help tell other slaves a way to free themselves. A former slave, Harriet Powers, she has become a famous artist. An artist creating a quilt that tells a story. And one of them is well known. It's called Bible stories. So each section of the quilt tells a different part of the Bible. Then there's other artists like Faith Ringgold, who really pushed the boundary of quilt making into a high art form. And she would tell stories of things that were going on around her in life, like in this one, Flag Story Quilt. Bisa Butler is another artist who is current now, and she is considered a textile artist. Textile is basically different fabric, cotton, silk, satin, all kinds of different ones, and she manipulates these fabrics to make like painted art, but it's made from quilts, sewing together portraits inspired by pictures back from this one is called Four Little Girls. And now for Maya. She uses the word Ubuntu as a way to create and embrace our community. So together, like with Maya, we are going to create our own classroom and school-wide quilt using the painted tissue paper in the style that she did. So let's get to it. Did you guys notice in Maya's quilts how there's different kinds? There's the ones that are hanging down from the ceiling in long strips, and then there's the other one that she calls Ubuntu, where it's gathered in different ways and folded and draping across the wall. So as we put our quilt together, we're going to work as a class and use all the different shaped quilts that we have. The different shaped painted papers. So these are both circles. Some are smaller, some are bigger. Then we also have our paper towels that we painted, and this is what shape? A rectangle. So what we are going to do is we're not going to leave them whole. I want us to tear them or cut them into strips or different shapes and put it together. And that's going to make it more visually interesting. So you can tear it with your fingers, you can use scissors. We don't want the pieces to be too small, but we want them enough so that we can put them together. And you see how that one kind of tore off center? That's okay. I'm just gonna keep on tearing it into different sections. And then I'm gonna think about how I'm gonna lay it out. Now remember, we're all working together, and you guys can glue one piece at a time. We're gonna need our glue stick. So I've already started, and you see how I took one tissue paper and tore it, then took another one, cut it into strips. So let's see, how am I gonna use this one? I think that I actually want to use this one right here And for this one, I think I'm going to cut it. And remember, always cut away from your hands. And I'm gonna lay it out so it's overlapping. What that means, it's one over the other. And you can do it this way on top, or you can do it under. It's up to you. So I think I'm gonna mix them together. So it's a good idea when you're making your quilt to lay out the pieces and see how you like it. And then you can always change it or add more. So I think for this one, I'm gonna tear this one right there like that. And I want that raw edge. Raw edge means, see this, how it's not a straight line? All right, so now I'm gonna glue these together. So I'm gonna get my glue stick. Can you guys see? And I'm going to put glue here on this side. So I know that that's gonna be touching the tissue paper, and I'm gonna put a little bit here because we wanna make sure that it sticks. Now I'm gonna fold it over and press and rub really hard to make sure that it sticks. If it seems like there's a piece that's coming off, this is not too bad. So I actually like that it's coming off a little bit, but if it seems like it's barely holding on, you might wanna add some more glue. So this one I said was gonna go in the middle. So I'm gonna put that under where I put the glue and press. All right, now I think, let's do it a little different. I think I want it this way. Can you change your mind while you're doing it? Of course you can. So let's do that. I'm going to put that there and glue this one here. And we're just gonna keep on going. You can add some to the side. I'm gonna add it here. I remember I said I wanted that raw edge. And see how here it's not sticking? So you just wanna make sure, and you can fold it over, that you have the glue stick going over the part that you want it to stick to. I think I want just a little bit more there. Now, look how it's coming together. Do you see that? I can't wait for you guys to put yours together. And again, it's okay if it's not one long thing. It could be any shape at all, as it turns out. And I can't wait for us to put it all together and hang it so everyone can see. All right, guys, take care. Bye.